the Mother Road, the Main Street of America, the Will Rogers Highway. Route 66 goes by many names and has 100 years of history across 8 states. For many, Route 66 represents a time of diners, classic American cars, open roads, family road trips, and motels. The original Route 66 spanned 2,400 miles, but its story stretches even further than that. To understand why Route 66 was needed, we first look at the Good Roads movement. From the late 1800s to 1920, there was a push to improve rural roads for bicycles and later cars. It was the Good Roads movement that paved the way for Route 66's development.
So the Good Roads movement was trying to create a way for people to be able to travel between towns, either enjoying their bicycles or these newfangled automobiles, and not have to rely on railroads. And so if you look at a map of Route 66, especially in the Southwest, it virtually follows the railroad.
The Route 66 story really begins in 1920, when a highway commissioner wanted to connect Chicago, Illinois, and Los Angeles, California through his hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. His name was Cyrus Avery, and he would continue to work connecting existing roads until Route 66 was officially commissioned in 1926. Before Route 66 was commissioned, Ivan says people did not travel far beyond their hometowns.
So when the road was developed, people could move more broadly across the United States. You have to remember, before Route 66, most roads were dirt, and most people didn't travel 20 miles beyond where they lived their entire lives. So when Route 66 was developed, hey, I can go, from state to state, which is really why the road was developed, to really connect America.
And connect America it did, but by the end of 1926, only 800 of the 2,448 miles of road were paved. So to expedite construction, the Route 66 Highway Association was formed in 1927. The same year, the road earned the nickname the Main Street of America, not only because it stretched across the whole country, but because for many small towns, it was the main street.
But 66 was unique, I think, because of its kind of geographical orientation. Starting in Chicago, it only linked a handful of major cities.
Though Route 66 largely connected and paved smaller established roads, Sean says it was still a big change.
This was a real movement to say there are going to be signs on the road that say this is where you're going, and this is how far you've come, and this is how much farther you have to go.
Things were good for a while, until 1929 when the Great Depression rocked America. Families were poor, women and children were wearing flour sack clothes. It was a mess. The Dust Bowl happened in the 1930s. It was a series of dust storms and subsequent drought in the Great Plains states, contributing to the Great Depression's economic distress.
This displacement of people, Route 66 was the venue they had to get out. They couldn't afford trains, so it was the old pickup truck and down the road you went.
Flagstaff, like many other towns, developed tourism in an attempt to pull itself out of the Depression. Thus, the All-Indian Powwow was born, running from 1929 to 1979.
What better way than to invite every Indian tribe in the United States to come to Flagstaff to do dances and ceremonies and sell their wares, and that's what this was all about.
With all the people traveling on the road, small towns sought to make a profit off of travelers moving out west.
It's the best motel, it's the statue of the spaceman, it's the All-Indian Powwow, it's the twin arrows in the ground, it's anything you can do to get people to stop, because if they'll stop, they'll spend $1, or $2 or $3 or $4.
By mid-1938, paving from Chicago to Santa Monica was complete. World War II began in 1939, putting an end to the Great Depression. In December 1941, the U.S. entered World War II, and life at the time continued to change once again. Wartime brought an end to the automobile industry for a while. People had to ration gas, and civilian car production came to a screeching halt. To even be eligible for a new vehicle, a person had to own an older car with over 40,000 miles on the odometer. Tires were the most difficult to come by, since Japan had control over the rubber supply. Route 66 transformed into transport for the military and remained this way until World War II ended in 1945. The end of the war ushered a new era for Route 66 and for Americans. For the first time in a long time, the American public began to travel for leisure. This boom promised economic growth around the road because travelers were in need of places to stay, eat, get their cars fixed, and have fun.
So you see this kind of interesting melange of foodways mixing and language mixing and styles of clothes and signage and all of this stuff kind of comes together.
The first section of Route 66 was bypassed in 1953 between Tulsa and Oklahoma City, the same place Highway Commissioner Cyrus Avery had his vision nearly 30 years earlier. Other states followed suit, building straight, 4-lane highways bypassing small towns that relied upon the mother road for business. By the 70s, nearly all of Route 66 had been bypassed by an interstate highway. For Williams, Arizona, that day came in 1984, marking the last town to be bypassed nationwide. The next year, Route 66 was officially decommissioned, the final nail in the coffin. Or so it was thought. Congress passed an act to create the Route 66 Corridor Preservation Program in 1999, run by the National Park Service. The act guaranteed the preservation or restoration of structures or other cultural resources of businesses, sites of interest, and other contributing resources along the road. And the rest is history. Route 66 towns became a stop on the map once again, and it celebrates its centennial in 2026. The Mother Road is more than just a highway. It represents the spirit of adventure, freedom, and the American dream. From its humble beginnings in the 1920s to its place as a cultural icon, it has shaped the lives of countless travelers and communities along its path.